Hey, this is Jennifer Priest, and I'm so happy to share with you Scrap-Free Scrapbooking. It is an ebook that I wrote that has a lot of great solutions for scrapbookers. So a few years ago, I started asking the question of other scrapbookers about what different kinds of challenges they have in their scrapbooking, and I got a lot of different answers. The answers range from all different kinds of things, from using up your stash, trying to use older papers that might not be in style anymore, putting away things when you're done scrapbooking, like dealing with the mess and organizing and all of that. They spend a lot of time doing organizing stuff. Also, just getting a lot of pages done, like, and into books. You know, a lot of times a scrapbooker can spend 3 or 4 hours on one layout, and maybe they do like 30, 40, 50 layouts a year. That's a lot of hours. So I really thought about like all these different problems and tried to think of, well, what kind of solution could I come up with? And I've been using this system for about a year now myself, and it's worked out really, really well for me. And I thought, okay, now I'm ready to do an ebook about it. The ebook is for sale over on my website, and I will put a link here in the video so that you can get it. I wanted to create this video so that you could see how this program works and if it's something that you think would be a good solution for you. So I combined a few different things that I'm into. And one of the things that I used was sketches and then patterns. So there's 3 main components to each pattern in the book. So first you get a pattern, which is a template of how to cut your paper. So everything's laid out, and I just used some different colors and patterns here. I tried to make it colorful so it was easy to see, right? So this isn't like a design concept, but you could do something like a solid paper, a light cardstock, a darker cardstock, and then another coordinating cardstock. And then some of the pages have some instructions down at the bottom, and these are kind of just some guidelines. The front of the book has all of the instructions, and everything is pretty much the same as far as how you do this. The other thing that is on the bottom of the pages here in the book is a little guide. And what's really nice about the guide is that it tells you how many pieces of paper you need and how many layouts it makes. And this I thought is really nice for people that have like collection packs of paper where you buy them and some of them have 6 papers, some have 10, some have 12, or you have paper that's left over and you feel like, or maybe it's from another project and you feel like, I don't really know what to do with this. I have 4 sheets of the same thing. Well, you could just pull out one of these patterns and then create layouts using that paper up. So the point was to kind of use up some of your paper, but also to do it efficiently. The final thing is to do this so that there are no scraps left over. So what I found was missing in the sketch market was that the sketches were really cool, and you'd chop up all this paper and use like little thin strips and stuff, but then you'd have all this stuff left over. Now you've got to figure out what to create with that. You've got to put it away. It creates a mess. So any scraps that are left over from this, because there might be like little pieces of paper that we trim down or snip something, all those little tiny pieces are all just throwaways. There should be nothing left to put away but embellishments when you're done with this pattern. In the book are also sketches. So once you cut the paper, then there's a sketch that shows you how to lay everything out according to the patterns. So this would use all of your pieces plus whatever extra background papers there are. So for example, with this pattern, we need 10 sheets of paper total. There's 4 that you're going to cut, and then you'll need 6 more pieces of paper to use for the backgrounds. You'll use this sketch as a guide for assembling your pieces, but to help make it a little bit easier so you can kind of visualize it a little bit better, I also included sample pages in the kits. So here you can see these are the layouts that you would create with the sketch. So this is basically a mirror image of the sketch. Some of these have some embellishments on them, and some of them have what I call cut apart sheets, which are the 12 by 12 papers where it's printed with journal blocks and you would cut those apart. The sample pages in the book and all of the templates in the book give you the base for creating really cool layouts. Here's an example of a finished layout that I did. Now on this page, I've used elements from the sketch and assembled that all together using my cutting pattern. But then I also added some cut apart pages. So this block and this block are from a cut apart page. And then I also added some stickers, like here's a sticker, those are stickers, some sequins and other embellishments to make the page a whole cohesive finished layout. So my vision for this is that you'll use up a lot of your stash that you haven't been able to get to, and it will challenge you to get some pages done. What's nice about this is you can work on your pages in kind of stages. For example, here's a page that's done with the sketch, and I added some cut apart pages to this as an embellishment. Then I can go in and add my photos, and then I can go in later and add more embellishments and a title, etc. So this way you can get a lot of scrapbooking done fast, especially if you're at a crop. You could make your template or cut your pages with your template, assemble the bases, even before you have your photos. Like, I know that I have a lot of Christmas photos, so I went ahead and made these pages, and then I can go ahead and print my Christmas photos to fit the pages so that I don't overprint, etc. The other thing that's nice is that you can use this with your Project Life stuff and just insert these pages in between your Project Life or your other pocket page type scrapbooking. So I want to show you guys a few of the layouts that I've made with this system so that you can see kind of what they look like. So here's a soccer page that I created. So this was using one of the cutting templates. I put together the sketch, and then I added some extra cut apart pages here with these embellishments, and also some other embellishments and stickers to really round the page out. Now, some of the templates have mats on them. If you find that you don't want the mats on there, or you want to put a bigger picture, it's okay to take the mats off. Here's another layout from the same template. So you can see that you can kind of get a different look. And I used this one to scrapbook a page about Katie a couple years ago, and I used this one to scrapbook about opening day of AYSO last fall. So just because the pages are similar as far as the papers that are used doesn't mean you need to use them all in order or all in the same year. And also you can use them for different scrapbooks. Like if you scrapbook for multiple people, maybe you scrapbook for your grandma and your sister and yourself, you could definitely use the pages in the different multiple scrapbooks. Here's another fun page that I made. So when there's not a mat, you can cut extra mats if you want, or you can just add your photos with no mat. You can also print your photos so they have white around the outside. But I like to have no mat because I feel like the pages are lighter. When you start getting a lot of pages in your book, they get really, really heavy. So a lot of these layouts don't have any mats. They're very simple. Now this layout started, the template is very, very simple for this one. It's just this curvy piece of paper on the top and then nothing else. But I wanted to show you how you could create a fun page with multiple pictures. This one has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 photos on it. And use embellishments to kind of tell the story and, you know, get a lot done with a very, very simple page. So here I let the stickers and the embellishments and the photos tell the story, and the paper is just two pieces. That's it. The other thing that's nice about these designs is that most of them can be rotated, just like your regular scrapbook sketches. So you could use this design this way, you could use it this way, etc. You could bump this strip down a little bit so you have a strip of paper here where you could put a title, etc. There's a lot of possibilities. So here's another finished page, and I wanted to show you this one in particular because I do a lot of pages where I cut the back out. Sometimes you might have paper where you have like 2 or 3 pieces that go together, but it seems like it's just not enough and you can't find cardstock or whatever to match. So I have some cutting templates where we cut out the middle of the page. So this yellow paper here is from Jelly Bean Soup, and I didn't have anything else that really matched it, and I wanted to use this green. I think the green is from Basic Gray. So I have papers from different companies and I just don't have enough. So what I did is on some of these templates, you'll notice that there's a square cut out of the center of the back of the layout, and then we add another piece of paper on top to kind of create a full 12 by 12 layout. So this is a way to get a lot more mileage out of your paper if you don't have enough, if it was discontinued. You know, sometimes I'll buy themed papers like soccer paper or theater paper or something like that, and maybe I only bought 2 sheets. So this is a way to make that paper go a lot further. Now that I'm done showing you all the samples and kind of talking about how the book works, I want to show you how the book actually works in action. So I'm going to use one of the cutting templates to create a series of layouts and show you how quick and easy this goes, as well as some tips for keeping it all organized and making it go super quick. So let's get started. Okay, so the first thing is to choose my papers. So for this template that I'm using, there are 10 sheets of paper that I need to make 5 layouts. I'm going to cut 4 sheets of paper. So I have this collection from Fancy Pants, and I have the embellishments and some other things that go with it. So I'm going to set those aside because I can use those later. And now I'm going to pull my paper. So I need to think about what papers I want to use for the background and which ones I want to use for the foreground. all right, because there's a bunch of different things. I really like, and one of the ways that I kind of choose paper is if I really like the front and the back, I'll use this one as one to cut up because I like both sides. So that'll be a cut one, and then this one can be maybe a background. This would be great as a background. And I like to mix up the colors too so that I can get some different looking layouts as well. I've chosen my 4 papers to cut, and then I've chosen my 6 papers for backgrounds. So I'm going to go ahead and set aside my background papers and get to work cutting. Now, what makes this go a little bit easier is making piles as you cut. The other thing is I like to start with the longest side first. So, and I can kind of look and figure out like what ones I want to be what. So I want this to be that 4th one. I'll cut this one first. This one will be 3rd and 2nd. Okay. So the first thing I want to do is if I don't need any UPCs, then I'll go ahead and cut them off. Now on most of the patterns, it'll tell you if you need to keep the UPC code connected. So I'm going to show you a sample of why you want to keep the UPC code connected to this UPC strip connected to the piece of paper while you're creating, and most of the templates will tell you if you need to keep it connected. On a lot of these I've used pieces of paper. So here you can see these are 2 pieces of paper joined together. So I left that UPC strip on there so I could use that to join everything together without having to cut a strip from some other type of paper. It gives you a lot more variety as far as the paper that you can use without all of the weight and all of the waste. And this is great if you don't have a lot of paper. So instead of using this pink one all the way through the whole background, what I've done is cut it off, use a strip of it, and attach a strip of something else, which is actually the other side of this stripe paper. So this is really great if you really love both sides of one double-sided paper, because then you can do this, where you have a piece of it showing on one side and then the other pieces are down here. But for this particular template, we don't need the UPC code attached, so I'm just going to measure to 12 and then slice that code right off and discard it. Now, because this pattern is cutting from the top down, what I want to do, if I did that this direction, my stripes would look crazy. So I'm going to turn it so that my stripes are perpendicular to the cutting blade so I get a really cool look here. Now, the first thing I'm going to do is I want to cut at 1.5. So I'm just going to measure down from 12 to 10.5. There's a little bit of math involved here. You can also measure this way on your trimmer, but I just find I don't get as good of a cut, so that's why I'm measuring, counting backwards. Now you can really embellish these a lot if you want, but I'm going to leave them pretty simple until I get my photos on so I could layer more embellishments on. But I wanted to show you how really quick you could get your base pages done. Then you just go in and add your photos, and then you add your embellishments and journaling, and you have lots of pages done all at once using one collection pack. And what's nice is you could go through your papers and see, like, I have 5 of these papers. You could use the index in the book to find out what template uses 5 pieces of paper, and then you're on your way. So thank you so much for watching. I hope that you guys enjoyed this. The link to purchase the book is down below in the comments or in the description section. If you have any questions, leave them in the comments, and I'd love for you to subscribe and check out more of my crafty projects.